Alright, hello. The Wisp video was really nice, and I was quite glad it got the attention that I wanted it to, because usually when I edit videos, I don't get as much attention as my normal style videos like this one. This one is gonna start a new series, you see. So on this series, it's gonna be community driven, like comment driven rather, just like the viewer weapon suggestions, where we were taking a viewer weapon and we were trying to go as far as we could with how strong we could make it. But for this one specifically, I think we're gonna make a small series where we're gonna be taking a look at strictly underpowered or strictly undervalued weapons. So for example, weapons that people think they're a mastery for. Weapons like the Stephalos, weapons like the Veld, weapons like the normal Viper, all of these type of weapons that people may like the aesthetics, people may like how they sound, how they look like, but they don't really perform as well when they build them. So for the first video, we're gonna do one that I think is gonna be a very easy one to be proud, to be honest, and it's the Alternox. So why is this weapon considered bad? First of all, it's obviously really bad to have any automatic rifle and have one type of damage on it. Like, it's really nice to have one type of damage on a beam weapon, but when it comes to a rifle, this just becomes egregious and really hard to mod for. And then the secondary fire is nice, but honestly, it's not the best grouping ability, and you would rather group with some other kind of weapon, even though, it's whatever. And, the Alternox itself, it is a really cool looking weapon. Like, this is a really nice looking weapon. And a lot of people think it's dog shit. So let's try to fix it. So we're going to take the strengths of the Alternox and buff them as much as we can. The strengths of the Alternox are the high status chance, the high critical multiplier, and the fact that it has a high base damage, and most importantly, the fact that it has multiplicative CO. Yes, this weapon makes galvanized aptitude multiply the final damage of your weapon instead of just this mode working like serration and replacing it. So you can use both serration and galvanized aptitude to multiply your damage against everything, or if you want to multiply your damage against specific factions but take it even further beyond, you can put a faction mod, like we're gonna do in this video, because we're gonna take it to Disruption versus Grenier. Isn't that wonderful? So basically, because it has multiplicative CO and because there is only one damage type on this weapon, it becomes really unusable, this weapon, if you don't use something like a primer. Any primer will work. So we're going to be looking at an epitaph with a secondary cucumber again, this thing. And yeah, basically this is a standard build that goes for viral electricity, and then it's whatever. You can get corrosive stacks from somewhere else. Our weapon deals corrosive anyway. This just replaces a cold mode, then adds electricity, which you could probably get by adding electricity here. It's just whatever. You can figure it out. I count on you, please. But yeah, as you see, status chance crit damage, multi-shot crit damage on the Riven, more multi-shot, more status chance, more damage, just our flat element here and more flat element here, and this will be it. Basically, flat damage up, multiplicative CO, some priming onto the enemies. The weapon will be very strong. And I'm not going to go into the Fissure because we're going to lose our damage to Grenier and the weapon will struggle against normal mobs, but it will be absolutely insane versus the, disruption targets. And I don't really have a Bane of Corrupted maxed out, so I really CBA doing that. Would much rather do this. So, as we're going to see, the Alternox itself, if we don't prime the enemies, it's gonna be pretty bad. And this is because multiplicative CO on it exists, and this is because the weapon doesn't have many damage types, and it has only one damage type when it's a fully auto weapon, which is what brings it down a lot. But this is easily fixable by using and abusing a primer. So, take down my buffs. So in order to get crits from this weapon, I'm using Arcane Avenger. You can also use an Ardazakavat for 60% extra crit chance. That is gonna help a lot. So as you can see, the damage of the weapon without any kind of buffs is already pretty good, but this is obviously Grenier. I have Bane of Grenier, so it's not anything too crazy, and we're gonna see that when the Demolist comes through, we're not gonna see anything too crazy. Also need to be careful because enemy toxin weapons is spooky. Very spooky, especially on those higher levels. This is the condition that kills you the most, and we don't want to die, I think. So I'm just gonna stun him in place. So as you see, the damage, as I said, is not very great. The dog is doing stuff to prime him a bit, but, you know, definitely not enough. Not doing enough to help me out here, and a normal primer, some kind of damage buff will be the one that we need to do. And because of the multiplicative CO, if you've watched my video on all the elements, Eclipse and everything else, you should know that Eclipse should be the one that you're using. So, this time we're gonna prime. So she takes some hits, and then now we see our damage went from 7,000 all the way up to 28,000 without any kind of damage buff onto Demolist, which is pretty decent. Demolists do have a really high amount and stupid amount of damage reduction, which makes them extremely tanky, especially on higher levels. But it's also why they, you know, feel tankier with some weapons and not with others, because when you don't have any kind of armor strip capabilities and all that damage reduction is accumulating in the stack, and it just gets too crazy. So something to keep in mind when playing disruption missions, but in general it's like an easy fun mission. So we're gonna use Eclipse now as well to showcase the maximum capabilities of this. So it's a Nox, we're gonna stun him, Dogo goes on him. So 72,000 damage with Eclipse, pretty much doubling it directly. And overall, pretty decently fast kill. It's not like 1 to 2 shots that you would get for some OP weapon like the Tenetetra or something like the Chomna Prime, but overall, you know, it's still pretty good results. And considering the secondary fire having some kind of utility, it's really nice. What are you doing here? Interesting. And yeah, as I said, I'm using only Avenger to get more crit buff. You can also use a Darzakapat, and this will boost your crits to orange territory by itself. You don't need anything else. And as you see, Corrosive and Cold freezes enemies just like this super quickly, which is also really nice. So there is some kind of utility with this weapon. Obviously, secondary fire, too low ticks per shot to do anything. Now, we're not gonna prime this guy, we're just gonna shoot him with Eclipse. And as you see, damage is really low. Now Dogo will hit him for some procs, so damage will go up significantly, and you can see how much of a difference having any extra procs throw a primer or your companion can do to your damage when using such weapons. So this weapon, no, it's not really bad. It's very usable. It feels very nice to use because the projectile speed is quite high, so it's almost like a hit scan weapon. And overall, it is doing decent result-wise. The only thing I wish this weapon did better is the secondary fire ticking a bit faster. But hey, this is why we're here. Didn't really make the secondary fire do much more. As you can see, it will proc stuff on enemies, it just procs it really slow, and then when it exploded, it doesn't really do much damage either. So it is quite in fact useless. And I wish it just proc the damage types way too quickly, or the procs per the ticks per second, I guess, would scale with your fire rate at least. Something like that, something to make the secondary fire way better. But the primary fire is really decent. So, one more wave. The next guy I will do without using Eclipse, just priming. So it's a Nox. $47k. Pretty decent. And there are other ways to get the flat crit chance. There is Piercing Roar, there is, as I said, that Adarza Kavat is this way, especially now that Kavats are pretty good in general. Like, you can use pretty much anything you want when it comes to pets, as long as it's a beast. You can use Sentinels too, obviously, but you're gonna miss that that extra resource booster that may be very, very valuable. In this instance, it wasn't. Yeah, damn it. My attention spam is really weak today. What can I say? It's all good though. Yeah, as you can see, not the worst, obviously. Very, very usable. Very decent if you like the gun. Guy's frozen, he can move, he has a million status procs on him. Weapon kinda shreds him. It's pretty decent overall. And the reason why I make this this type of video, and the reason why I want to start this series anyways, is because, you know, the weapon looks fucking insane. I mean, there is no other way to say it. The design and the looks of this weapon, they're all so fucking amazing. But unfortunately, we were all let down by this. Like, this ball right here does not do anything. And I'm gonna be real, no matter what, I cannot fix this shit. But the primary fire is nice. The primary fire is definitely usable, and it does pretty well as well. Against normal enemies, you don't need to prime, you don't need to do anything with this time. Against heavier enemies and these Demolists, you know, you will need to do stuff, but when you do, the weapon gets way better. Also, for the new Warframes, I am trying to get Zaku Prime, but I don't have Knight in Extract, which was something that I didn't really see. My bad. I spent the last night in Extract on my 6th Wisp for the latest video, so, you know, priorities. But I'll get him. Don't worry about it. That guy died incredibly quick. Oh, look, a Quasis Riven. Yeah, Quasis Riven. Quasis Relic. I need some of those. So, Quasis, I don't have the blades. I'll need to get more relics like the one I just got now and farm them. The Tram I already have, and you will see a video about it most likely tomorrow. And for Zaku Prime, I need the Knights and Extract, so hopefully soon. But Zaku is, in my opinion, the strongest Warframe in the game. So if you get a video from me talking about Zaku, just expect me to praise him a lot, because I do think he is absolutely broken. He's probably the most insanely broken frame in the entire game, and I don't think anything comes close to it. Anyways, this is the start of the series. Put on the comment section which weapon would you like me to take a look next. Which weapon you like a lot. It can be a primary, a secondary, a melee. It doesn't matter to me. It can even be an Argon. Like, sure, if you want an Argon, if you are... Do you like the Grattler? The Grattler? I like the Grattler. I have a Riven for a Grattler. You want to see the Grattler shred? I'll put the Grattler to work. Don't worry about it. All good. But yeah. Be real. Just... the only thing that I want the weapon to be is considered underpowered or considered MR fodder, as we call it. And anything can go after that. So, thank you very much for watching another video. I'll leave Discord and Twitch links in the description, and we'll see you on the next one.